everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. If you're new, welcome to our channel. Today's video is going to be a Q&A. I asked you guys on my Instagram. If you're not following me, it's just at Renee Amberg. I asked you guys to ask me whatever you want, so I'm gonna just go ahead and dive right in. The first one is, how did you become financially stable? I think a lot of people ask me to, like, a lot of finance questions. One of the main things that I have learned from like a young age is to have multiple streams of income, not to put all of your eggs in one basket, because let's say you put all of your financial obligation into one job and that job, God forbid, goes away. You have nothing else to fall back onto. It's kind of like with stocks. If you put all of your money into one stock and then it drops or goes away, or you lose a lot of money, you're gonna lose it all. Something I learned in finance class was when you throw your money into different types of stocks, there's a word for it. It's like, I think it starts with a D, lowers your risk at losing stuff. So let's say you put your money a little bit in here, a little bit in here, a little bit in here, and a little bit in here. Let's say this one drops really low, but this one is really high. The loss isn't as bad of an impact on what you're making because the amount of money that you made on this one. So you're diversifying your sources of income, where if one goes down, it's not the end of the world because you have others to rely on. You should always have multiple sources of income, a main source of income, and then maybe like a fun little hobby on the side that you can somehow make money from. Always just have like a side project that you're working on, because that's kind of what I did. I started a YouTube channel not to make money, but because I actually really did enjoy it and it just made me money. And at the end of the day now, I have multiple streams of income within the social media world that I'm in. And I talk about that in a separate Q&A that I'll pop on the screen. When I was in college, I looked at college as my job and I put a lot of my energy and time into that. Even though I actually wasn't making money from it, I was investing in my future. So that was like my main source of job per se. And then I would babysit on the side. The next question I have is, what is my go-to drink when I go out? If I'm like splurging, I love a good martini. I love Moscow mules. I'm a vodka person. I like tequila. I like tequila shots more than like a tequila drink. I'm not a big margarita fan at all. Like I probably won't drink margaritas. I think they're just like too sour, honestly. But if I'm like going hardcore and I'm going out, I will drink a Tito's soda water lime, lots of lime. That's my go-to drink. Someone asked me my life before YouTube. So my life before YouTube was, I like grew up in the same little town in Tampa and went to school. I went to the same school in high school. I didn't like move around at all. I moved around a lot, but within my neighborhood. So it wasn't like I moved out of school district and I had to change schools. So grew up with the same people. I freaking hated high school. It was just not my thing. I had a lot of like bullying and things that just, it wasn't a good experience. Moved out, went to college for 4 years at UCF in Orlando. That's where I met Noah. Partied really hard the first year, and then got more serious and worked on real estate. I wanted to be like a real estate agent, got my real estate license, worked for a real estate investment company, and then I slowly but surely started recognizing like that just wasn't what I wanted, and real estate wasn't what I thought it was. Got into YouTube, thought it was like such a fun, creative thing to do. So I got my first ever apartment on my own when I was a senior in college. I was like able to pay for it and everything. It wasn't a super expensive apartment, but that was kind of where I got the start of like, okay, I want to actually do this. Bought my first camera, still worked the real estate investment job, I think for like a year or two after I started my YouTube channel, and then it just started growing. It used to be called Simply Nay. If you guys are from Simply Nay era, I freaking love you. Like, look how far we've come. That's insane. But I didn't want anyone to know about my channel. I didn't post about it. I didn't like share about, like, I think the only person that knew was Noah and my mom. And I told myself, once I get to 10,000 subscribers, like, then I'll tell people. Got to 10,000 subscribers when I was in St. Pete. When I moved back home, I moved back home after I graduated college. I quit my real estate investment company a year after I moved back home, and then it was just YouTube and then brand ambassador work. I also worked for my mom's company for a little bit. They needed help in the office and I was like, I need money, like I'm doing it. That's when I got 10,000 subscribers and I still got really nervous and I was like, I don't want to tell people. Like, I don't know, it's just really fucking vulnerable to like put yourself out there and then have like family members and friends see you. And I always thought people would be like, who the fuck does she think she is? A lot of people in my life ended up finding out about my channel. So I finally was like, okay guys, like I didn't like go out and be like, I have a YouTube channel. I literally posted like a Snapchat new video live, and that that's when people were like, wait, what? You have a channel, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, from there on, it's just been uphill. I'm super thankful, and we've kind of grown this community. It's just been really nice. I officially was full-time YouTuber last year in January. So 2019 January was when I first ever went full-on YouTuber mode. I have a whole video on YouTube advice with like numbers, when I was able to go full-time, when I wasn't, like all of that, like in depth. I have a video about that I'll pop on the screen as well. If you guys are interested in like the number aspect of when I was able to be full-time and how much money I was able to make and all this other stuff. That was my life before YouTube, just pretty simple, basic college girl and boring high school student that was a nerd and made like good grades. How often do I do laser treatments? Recently did IPL, which is a laser treatment that gets rid of dark spots. Like I mentioned in the vlog, I'm from Florida. I grew up like tanning all the time with no sunscreen. The tanner the better. I would just sit there for hours and bake in the sun, and it's totally damaged my skin. I did my first ever laser treatment last year around this time. The first time I had amazing results. This time I'm slowly but surely starting to see it. I feel like my skin is doing pretty good, and it glows. It gets rid of like all the like dark sunspots that are all over my face and kind of lessens down the redness tone of my skin. So yeah, I'll probably continue to do it once a year. That's like pretty much the only cosmetic thing that I'll ever do. I tested with V-beam, which is just a different type of laser. I didn't see that much from the V-beam, but the IPL is like amazing. It makes your skin really just glow and gives it that youthful look that I'm starting to lose because of the sun damage. I've only done 2 treatments, and I'll probably keep up with it once a year. What camera do I use? I use the Canon G7X Mark II. I always have it linked in the description box of every single one of my videos if you are interested. It is so simple to use because it's like dumb proof. You can change the settings and stuff, but it comes pretty set. Like when I first got it, all I had to do is start recording. Like there wasn't any like sort of technical stuff that I had to do. It has a flip screen camera. It's very small, compact. I love it. Any long distance advice? Okay, so Noah and I are gonna be celebrating our 8th anniversary next week. We've been together for 8 years. It's nuts. We've always had our own separate lives. We have a very like non-traditional relationship. Again, I opened up about that in a separate video. We don't want to get married. We don't really want to have kids. We have our own separate lives, and then we come together at the end. He's my best friend. He's my person. I'm his best friend. I'm his person. We are so in love with each other. Yes, we fight. Yes, we argue. I think everyone does. And if you don't, I don't think that's very healthy. I feel like you guys are like not getting real deep, if you know what I mean, and working through problems. But when I first met him, we were in college. We didn't live together. He actually owns a home. I've always just lived in my own apartment. We're always with each other, but he always owns his house, and like I'll have my apartment. We have separate finances. I do my thing, he does his thing. That's just how we work. He's from Wales, so he'll go home once a year, and we've always just had that sort of long distance. So like at least once a year we're not together for like, I would say 2 to 3 months a year. So we're used to the long distance, but obviously this year has just been way different because he's been gone now for 8 months. My dad died, and the world is literally ending, it feels like. So, and I moved to a new city alone. So it's not the same long distance that I typically would do. I feel like long distance in our relationship is so healthy because it gives us a chance to miss each other. And then when he does come home, it is literally like that honeymoon phase, and we get it once a year. Most people get sick of each other, and the honeymoon phase only lasts like the first 3 months. When we first got together, he had to go home for like a family emergency, and we had only like been officially together for like, I want to say a month and a half, and he was gone for 3 months. So our relationship started kind of long term. So it's always just been a part of our relationship, and it just makes it really exciting and fun when he does come home. But going through like a shitty long-term situation like we're in right now, we communicate every single day. He calls me every day. We use an app that is like for international, so it's not through like our typical carrier or phone. Yeah, it's really hard, but again, I think just because we've been through this before, it's not as hard as I feel like if someone else was going through it for the first time, but we're kind of just used to it. Yes, I miss him like crazy. I think it's important to just, when you have your time, not to talk about the situation or your current struggles, because if you're constantly just like talking about that, your relationship will be that, because you only have like a short span of time every single day that you are communicating with them. And if your whole entire relationship is based off anxiety and stress and like the situation, it's not gonna you're not going to overcome it. You have to be positive, talk about your day, talk about plans that you have, when they're going to be coming home, like how excited you are to see them. Just keep things as positive as you can, because you don't want your relationship to be the stress and anxiety of the long distance relationship. You want to keep it positive and upbeat. Focusing on your life and like your time alone is really important. I typically like when he leaves, not obviously this time, but when he does give me that space. For the first like month, I'm like thriving because I'm like in my zone. I'm working really hard. I'm focusing on myself. I'm eating super healthy and clean, and I'm just kind of living for me. And then when he's back, I have that opportunity to be in that relationship zone, but I kind of get the best of both worlds. So take advantage of the time that you're alone. And I think long distance is so exciting because when they do come home, it's so amazing and you appreciate every little moment and detail in your relationship, and it's literally like cloud fucking 10 when you're together again, and it's exciting and you get like all nervous when he comes, and it's just it's a good thing. This year obviously is very different. So yeah, that's my advice. Like, I don't have much advice. I'm not like a long distance relationship advice guru, but that's the best that I have. So if you are dealing with that, I hope that helps. How do we deal with finances as a couple? Like I said, we have our own separate lives. I have my life, he has his life. We come together at the end of the day, and that includes finances and work. We're very non-traditional. Like, we don't share income. What we say is like, what's mine is yours. So I'm not very like stingy with my money or anything, and he's not very stingy with his money. Everything that I own, I feel like is his. Everything that he owns is like mine, but it's in our separate names, if that makes sense. So I have the like stability and ownership of my finances, and he does as well. God forbid anything ever happened, there would be no problem with that. Everything is shared and communicated that way, but it's not like if you get down to the nitty-gritty. Does that make sense? I'm not the type of person that feels like a man, or anyone for that matter, parents, should be in charge of my income. That gives me stress and anxiety. I didn't grow up with money, so having to rely on someone for money is not ideal for me. It's actually, it makes me very anxious and nervous. I've always just been like a go-getter, and I just love having my own money. So that's the same for me in relationships. Like, I want to be able to work really hard and get Noah gifts that he deserves and take him out, and he does the same for me. And I think you can do the same for yourself. Like, if I want something, I don't have to rely on somebody else to help me with that. I know for a fact that I can get it myself. I think it's really important to be like independent financially for everybody. If we go out or something, we don't really talk about finances because we just kind of understood that like this is, we don't like put labels or anything on stuff. Like, it's just very non-traditional, but it works for us. Like, if we go out, I'll buy something and it feels the same as if he bought something, or he'll buy something and it feels the same as if I bought something. It's not like I'll buy the next one. It's just like we just flow. Like, we just, I don't know how to explain it. Favorite folklore song? I have been obsessed with the Taylor Swift Folklore album, and a lot of you guys really like it as well. I've learned the lyrics of Cardigan, and I really like it. It's like about how this girl had overcome her boyfriend. It's like her first love and first heartbreak, and she knew that she's gonna carry that weight around all the time throughout her life, but she knew that she would eventually outgrow him. So the lyrics of that one have been really great. I love Exile with Bon Iver. That's just such a like fall, autumn, cozy song. I love Mad Woman. The like piano is just unreal in that song. I really like The Last Great American Dynasty. It's a really pop, kind of like makes me want to dance song. Those are my favorite, but honestly the whole album, there's not one song that I don't like. It's a very cozy fall, autumn style album, and I'm in love. How am I mentally? I am doing amazing. What? I just got a treadmill, so I've been back on my running grind, and that's released a lot of tension in my body and my mental clarity. I love sweating and getting a good workout in. In quarantine, it's really hard for me to get good cardio in, so having cardio releases so much tension. Like, I put everything and my energy into that, and then I get a runner's high after, and it's been nothing but amazing. And that sounds really corny, but it's been my favorite thing that's happened since 2020. Russia just came out with a vaccine. That's amazing news. There's hope, and I feel like Noah's gonna be able to come, I want to say in a month, knocking on wood. Just been really careful with all of that. We don't want to risk anything. I'm going to my dad's funeral next week, so it'll be nice to see my family. I'm gonna be meeting Lindsay's baby. Just a lot of really good things to look forward to. And the holidays are coming up. I don't think they're gonna be the same, obviously, and I don't think the city's gonna be the same for a while, but it's just a lot of positivity and things to look forward to. It's not just like a guessing game and nothing really coming up. Like, there's a lot coming up that I am so excited about. My health is getting back on check, and I'm getting motivated again to work out and be healthy. Getting so creatively inspired by YouTube again. Gonna be decorating my apartment and getting it completely settled, and we have a lot of like really fun videos coming up in terms of like apartment decorating and stuff. So excited about that. Noah's coming home, my dad's funeral, and seeing my family in the week. It's just, there's just a lot. And obviously the end of 2020 is what we all want, and that's coming up. So it's only up from here. A lot of you guys were asking me about my New York City life. Why did I choose it? Do you regret it? What are the pros and cons? How's it like living in New York? Obviously, it's not the same as if I moved here before COVID. So far, my experience has been nothing but amazing. I've met amazing people here that are in my field of work, which is so interesting. It makes me feel motivated and inspired. I have a friend, like a long-term friend that I grew up with that lives here, so I still have that sense of home. My apartment has been amazing. It's kept me like as cozy as I can be during quarantine. I'm loving it. Pros and cons. The pros, obviously, like I have the world at my fingertips. There's just so much to do in New York. Even with COVID and everything starting to reopen, there's still so much I can do. I love that it's the safest state right now. I love what they're doing in terms of the COVID situation. The cons obviously would be, it's kind of scary sometimes. Being a girl alone living in the city is kind of nerve-wracking. The prices are ridiculously high, but I knew that was gonna happen. Obviously, like living here alone isn't ideal. I live by the water, so I get like the best of both worlds, where I have like the water at my fingertips, but I also have the city on the other side. My favorite place has been, we went to West Village. That was like the first place that I traveled to since COVID. Such a nice little area. It's like a hometown feel, lots of nature and greenery and really cute places. I love the water, like that whole trail by the water. I went down to the financial district and that was so nice. I went to World Trade Center and the memorial there. That was really cool. Times Square is not it right now because there's no tourists. It's literally just homeless people. And it's not the safest, so that's not that fun. I went to Central Park. Central Park is so nice. Oh, the Flatiron Building area. My favorite area. That's been my favorite area so far that I've visited. It feels like it's not COVID season. There's lots of people walking around. The restaurants are open outside. It's so beautiful. The scenery is just insane. And then why did I move to New York? I moved to New York to get out of my comfort zone. I've lived in the same little town my whole life. I wasn't feeling inspired. I know that a lot of influencers move over here, and so I thought that there would be like opportunity to, you know, go to events and work with brands, and I also wanted to get another job. There's just a lot of opportunity in terms of my channel and life experiences. Even though it's not looking the same as I had hoped, I'm still getting out of my comfort zone. I'm meeting a lot of people. I've learned probably more than ever in this little era of my life because of everything that I went through. So it's been amazing, but it's not been what I initially had planned. Does that make sense? So I don't regret moving here. I'm actually very excited to be able to kind of explore the city once things start slowly but surely reopening. And I only have hope from here. Thank you guys so much for asking me these questions. I'll definitely do another Q&A in the future. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in a future video. Bye guys.